Hey everyone, I'm Rob and welcome to the test drive. Today, I'm driving the 2019 Ford Ranger, and today I'm gonna tell you everything that you need to know about this mid-size pickup truck. Let's go. Now, before we get into the video, make sure you go onto my other channel called A Wander Affair. It's a channel I have with my wife. We have a GoPro giveaway going on right now, and all you have to do is go subscribe to that channel and go to the giveaway video and comment on that. I'm linking it above and below, so make sure you go do that and then come back to this video and watch the rest of it if you want. Now, many people in the US are very excited about the 2019 Ranger, and for good reason. This is a great truck, but what many people don't realize is that this isn't actually a new truck. This Ranger has been sold in other parts of the world for quite a few years. I was just in Mexico a little over a month ago, and there were a ton of these Rangers driving around, and most of them were not 2019s. So this is basically an introduction of this truck to the US market. It's not new, but it is very nice depending how you configure it, and I think this is a great truck, and it's very competitive in the small truck space, where you have the Tacoma that seems to have the majority of the market share, but then you also have the Canyon in Colorado. So there's some good competition in this space, but there's a lot of money to be made. This isn't a space that is dead in the US like Ford thought when they originally canceled the Ranger for the US market. So like in every other review, we're gonna start with the exterior of the 2019 Ranger. Now, I really like the way that this truck looks. I think it looks really stylish from the front. I also love the look from the rear, how big the taillights are, and from the side. This is a really good looking truck. Now, there are 3 different trim levels available. You have the XL at the base level, you have the XLT being the mid-level trim, and you have the Lariat being the top level trim, and that's what I'm driving today. So the truck that I'm driving does look more elegant, I would say, than some of the other trim levels, and I love that it does have the Lariat badging on the side. This one also has some very good looking 18-inch rims, and I love that this has some beefier tires as well. The Lariat trim level that I'm driving also comes with LED headlights. Now, when you get to the interior of the 2019 Ranger, I think there's a lot to be impressed with. The Lariat that I'm driving does have the nicest interior of the 3 different trim levels. The XL and the XLT have cloth seats, the Lariat has leather seats, and you can either get this black leather color or you can get a lighter tan leather as well. These are very nice soft leather seats. The front seats are also heated, and you have a nice soft leather wrapped steering wheel in the Lariat. I also love all of the Ranger badging. You have it on the leather seats, you have it on the dash, you even have it on the floor mats, and I think this is something where Ford is clearly very excited about bringing the Ranger back to the US and really wants to market that name and get people excited about it. And I have to say, people are really excited about the Ranger. I've been driving this truck around for 2 days, and I've had at least 4 people ask me if that's the new Ranger. So even though it's not an entirely new truck, people here seem to be really excited to have it back. The only thing missing from this interior, in my opinion, is a sunroof of some kind. I think a panoramic moonroof would be really nice in here, and from at least what I can tell in the configurator online, there isn't any sunroof option of any kind for the Ranger. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe I missed something, but I at least couldn't find that, and obviously there's nothing in the truck that I'm driving today. The cabin materials also feel pretty nice. There is some hard plastic, but again, this is a truck, so that's kind of expected. But you do have some leather and vinyl wrapped surfaces as well that really make this truck feel more luxurious than it has to be. There are 2 different body styles to the 2019 Ranger. You have the Super Cab, which has a back seat and a 6-foot bed. It's a smaller back seat though. And then you have the Super Crew that I'm driving today, which has 2 full-size rear doors, but the bed is a little bit smaller. It's only 5 feet in length. And this truck does have plenty of room. The driver and front passenger have plenty of room. It doesn't feel like the seats are too close together. And then the rear seats are pretty nice as well, and you do have a decent amount of room. I'm 6 feet tall, and I had no problem sitting behind myself. It's obviously nowhere near as much space as you'd have in a full-size pickup, but for being a mid-size pickup, it is pretty good. Now, getting to the performance of the 2019 Ranger, there's only one powertrain available. That is the 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine. It's the same engine that is in the EcoBoost Mustang, but in the Ranger, it puts out less power than it does in the Mustang. In the Ranger, it puts out 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. You can get the Ranger in either a 4x2 rear-wheel drive configuration, or you can get it with 4-wheel drive. And like a truck should, it does have a 2-speed transfer case with 4 high and 4 low. There's no 4 auto though, like there is in a lot of the F-150s. Now there may be some people that really don't like the fact that the only engine option is a 4-cylinder. And I've driven the V6 Colorado, and I don't think that the V6 Colorado, or maybe any V6 in this class, really sounds that much better. I mean, that's the only gripe that I have with 4 cylinders in general, is that they don't sound as good as a V6. But again, in a mid-size pickup truck, I don't know that it really matters that much anyway. This EcoBoost also puts out a lot of torque for this class, and it seems to have power and torque at all RPMs, which is really great. And that torque especially kicks in at a really low RPM, which is very nice. And this thing is also very capable. It's rated to tow up to 7,500 pounds when it's properly equipped, and that's really good, especially for a 4-cylinder. That is very good. I believe the 4-cylinder Canyon and Colorado turbo diesels tow up to 7,700 pounds, and those are diesels. So, you know, for being a gas turbo 4, this is really capable. And the fuel economy is not bad. It's not great though, but 20 miles per gallon in the city, 24 on the highway with 4-wheel drive, or 21 and 26 with 2-wheel drive. The only transmission option for the Ranger, at least in the US, is the 10-speed automatic that GM and Ford co-developed. And I think it works really well in this truck. I also love that if you press either the up or down shift button when you're in drive, it actually gives you an indicator in one of the screens next to the speedometer of what gear you're in, and that's really cool. Apart from being able to see what gear you're in, it's just another way for Ford to kind of promote the 10-speed that they're using in more and more vehicles. You can also put this thing in sport and actually manually control the gears. It's not that responsive. It's okay, but again, in a pickup truck, I don't think it's really that important anyway. But this EcoBoost is pretty quick. Another interesting thing with this truck is that it actually has a hand pull parking brake, and I'm wondering, and I could be totally wrong, but I'm wondering if that's because the Ranger in some markets is sold with a manual transmission. Otherwise, you'd think it would either be like a foot pedal parking brake, or you would have like an electronic button for the parking brake. The 2019 Ranger also has a pretty nice ride. It seems to absorb bumps pretty well, and it drives a lot like an SUV versus like a full-size pickup truck. And I think that's actually a good thing. Now, it still doesn't take corners that well, but again, this is a pickup truck. Now, while there isn't yet a Raptor version of the Ranger, and I really do hope they come out with one, there are some upgrades that make the Ranger more capable off-road. You have the FX4 off-road package that gives you a bunch of upgrades. That's, I believe, around $1,300, or if you just want to get the electronic locking rear diff, that I think is $420. So that is part of the FX4 package, but you can just get that electronic locking diff on its own. Now, getting to the technology in the 2019 Ford Ranger, especially in the Lariat trim level, there's actually a lot to talk about. The Lariat trim level does come standard with the 8-inch touchscreen that also has Ford's Sync 3 system. This is a very nice system. I really like it. Ford's been offering this system for the last couple of years in pretty much all of their vehicles, and it's really nice. It does come standard with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability, and then there are a couple upgrades that you can get to the technology package. So you do have the 500A package being standard, but you can get the 501A package that adds a bunch of other features. It adds a Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is really nice. It also gives you navigation and gives you adaptive cruise control. However, the truck that I'm driving doesn't have the 501A package. It just has the 500A, but it does have navigation and adaptive cruise control because it has those as a separate package for, I believe, around $800. And the sound system that comes standard in this truck is fine, but for essentially $1,000 difference for the 501A package compared to what I have, I think it makes sense to do it. I think it's pretty inexpensive, and you do get a very nice sound system. The Lariat also comes standard with blind spot monitoring, and while we're talking about the mirrors, something that I think is kind of weird is that, yes, they are heated and power folding, which I really like, but you can only fold the mirrors in when the truck is running. So the engine either has to be running or it has to be an accessory. Otherwise, if you've already shut the truck off, you can't actually fold in the mirrors, which in most vehicles that have a button like this one does, you can do it regardless of whether or not the vehicle is running. You also have push button start and keyless entry standard in the Lariat. You have a very similar instrument cluster to what you have in a lot of Ford vehicles, where you have the big speedometer in the middle and then you have two screens on the left and the right. An interesting thing with the screen on the left is that at least when you first start the truck, before you actually start driving, it tells you how many seatbelts are buckled. And in this truck, this is a brand new truck. I picked it up with 250 miles on it, and all of the seatbelts in the back are buckled because I'm pretty sure nobody's actually sat back there yet. So automatically when I start this truck up, before I even put my own seatbelt on, it shows that 3 seatbelts are buckled. Then I put my own on, it shows 4 seatbelts are buckled. I think that's a cool feature. I mean, it's pretty easy to just look back and see, but at the same time, it's kind of cool that it monitors that. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the 2019 Ford Ranger. I really had a lot of fun driving this truck the last 2 days. I think it's a really solid competitor in the mid-size truck space, and I'm curious to see how Ford does with the Ranger in North America. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming additional content. Also, head over to A Wander Affair, my other channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on that channel and go enter the GoPro giveaway. Thanks again for taking this test drive with me, and I'll talk to you soon.